Drake's new album Iceman could be dropping very likely in October. Now, that is obviously very big news. Just until a couple of days ago, we only had very abstract theories about this Iceman concept, but he actually gave us 2 new tracks and a bunch of new info on this, so let's jump straight into this.
If you want to stay up to date with everything surrounding hip-hop, make sure to subscribe and also become a part of this community by joining our Discord server in the description.
You can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and recaps everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So against all expectations, Drake actually did something. Now this past Friday, he had a live stream up on YouTube that he previously teased at on his Instagram story. That was called the Iceman Episode 1. And so this means that we can likely expect more episodes of this. This was in its entirety like 40 to 50 minutes, even though only a shorter amount of this was actually the movie or the film that he wanted to show us. It's a lot of just like empty noise in between. But in general, we got 2 new tracks from this. One that actually dropped on streaming platforms right after, which is What Did I Miss? You can go stream that right now. It's also reached #1 on a lot of these streaming charts, but we'll talk about that in a second. First of all, the general concept of this live stream that was later uploaded as a movie was that Drake is actually in the facilities of the company Iceman in Toronto. And this is obviously the name of the record that we thought this was going to be called after he teased at this name and wore the hoodie and all of that in a bunch of material that he did. And he announced on Aiden Ross that he was working on a new album. But there is actually a company, Iceman, in Toronto that does ice sculptures and ice cubes and all sorts of things with ice. And Drake is playing the role of an employee that is just going about his day. And right in between, we get these new music videos. And in the second half of the entire thing, he's just driving through Toronto meeting fans. And that's obviously also pretty big. But we have to kind of break this down because, as I said, we did get a new track in the middle of this entire movie or this entire clip that we have, the video, that is called What Did I Miss? And the track, a lot of Drake fans say it's great. A lot of people also say that, he hasn't changed. It's the same style that we've been getting the past 5 years and not a lot has changed. It doesn't sound as good. And it also doesn't convince me, completely. Let me know what you think about this. Is this kind of a worthy comeback? Is this what fans were expecting, what they were hoping for? He is hitting more of an aggressive, more of a tone of confrontation. There are a couple of lines on here that directly reference people like LeBron, for example, where he said that he was hurt that he saw him at the pop-out celebrating with Kendrick after the beef. That was a pretty big moment apparently, but all in all, it's not really that great of a song. It's a nice song, don't get me wrong, but it's really not like the big comeback thing. But I don't want to play the Drake hater always, so it's still a good song. Now, the second one that we got was from the second half of the entire video, which was the scene where he was just driving with the Iceman company truck through Toronto. And this snippet is called Supermax, and here's a quick listen to that.
Yeah. And this summer I'm staying so focused, somebody could say the weather changed and I wouldn't notice. The company I keep is getting smaller while my other companies are all growing and overflowing. Family only feels like a riddle to affiliates that thought that they were safe because they played the middle. Losing all these friends really got to me. I was talking to Taylor over drinks and it was getting deep. Not everyone can handle this pressure, and in your city you're the national treasure. That's what she said to me. Only time they put me in a box is with the red leather. My body will rot, my name will live forever.
Now, I could play you this, but not What Did I Miss? Because obviously that song is already out, so you can just go listen to it there, and I would get copyrighted for it. But this sounds good. This sounds like some of the Drake styles that I like, the more mellow, the late night drive kind of vibe that you get with a bunch of his songs, which obviously he's listening to it while driving late at night, so that makes sense. But it sounds good. It's also nothing completely world-changing. Let's see where all of this takes us. Let's see what a couple of these symbolism that he was referring to with all of the guns on the floor in the What Did I Miss video actually end up meaning. As I said, likely there will be more episodes of this Iceman live stream thing that will give us more info on it. So let's hope for that. But in general, this is obviously interesting. Is this new album going to be called Iceman? Now, there is this company, Iceman, that maybe plays a role in this. Maybe they have some sort of collab going on. I mean, that's free promo for them. That's crazy. We also have this one scene with the whiteboard where he is counting up the quantity of ice cubes that he wants. We don't know for what. And then there is this one very central aspect, which is about the release date, which is what I teased at in the intro to this video, about it dropping in October. Now, the reason people believe this, it's still pretty far-fetched, so take this with a grain of salt. But as I said, Drake is playing the role of an employee that is just going about his day. He even has his lunch break. That is when on the TV we see old clips of him walking around Toronto, the same streets that he's now driving down in the company truck. We see the music video for What Did I Miss? And then Drake is leaving his shift. He's just, done working there, and he goes to clock out. And on the device where he clocks out, he's punching in the numbers 1025. And so some people said that this is the first hint that this record is dropping in October, 10/25. October is obviously also a pretty popular date with Drake. October's very own, OVO. It's always been his favorite season, the fall, so it's kind of a Toronto thing. The Weeknd does it the same, King of the Fall, all of that. So maybe it'll actually drop in October. It wouldn't be that far-fetched. That's still like 3 months to go, over 3 months, and it would be the perfect time to have some sort of big rollout, especially if we're getting a lot of lore for this, if we're getting a lot of rollout with these different episodes. That could definitely be something that he's interested in, dropping at around that time. So let's see where all this takes us. Let me know what you think about that theory with the clocking in, that 10/25 thing, if that's actually about October, or if it's just random. But obviously people will look at every little detail and try to get as much info out of that as we can. But obviously, all in all, this is pretty great. We didn't expect this to happen. This just came all of a sudden. We had him tease at this only the day of, and then we got 2 new songs. Now, as I said, I'm still very torn as to how great these songs are, as to if this is kind of the comeback that we were expecting. It's not like he just dropped a album and then kind of sealed the deal with it like Kendrick did with GNX. But as I said, I don't want to always take one side or the other. Let's see where all of this takes us. Iceman could definitely be some sort of greater concept about him, being cold as ice or something like that. I mean, he spends the entirety of the video inside a freezer or inside a company that does ice cubes or ice sculptures. So it's really the overarching theme of this is about these ice products. So let me know what you think about all of this. Also about the new songs, What Did I Miss? And Supermax, a snippet that I played you. And when you think this album is dropping? Is it October? Is it even called Iceman? It could be called anything else. It's just that this is the closest thing that we have because he's referencing the name and he's giving free promo to this one company from Toronto. It's just kind of weird. Why would he do that if that isn't connected to the record? And we had that one, that one thing from the bar where he was at, where he said Iceman 2025. Maybe that means something. But obviously, as always, let me know all your thoughts on this in the comments down below.
If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.